natural 2.
No!
Did you just dab?
And we're live. And we're live.
Hey,
Awesome.
and
All right.
Sharzy.
And Sharesies.
We tried to be early. It didn't happen.
We tried to be early. It didn't happen. We are still early. We're almost an hour early, actually. So we're doing well. But unfortunately, tonight was my fault. I was caught out and running a little bit behind, but I brought all the goodies to make sure that everybody is all happy.
He
And,
made it okay with snacks.
Yes, always good. Always better with snacks. You know you can rely on your
I'm like, where
DM to bring you snacks when your DM is Jordy, and he doesn't know how to not spend money at Costco. Alrighty, so picking up where we left off last week with episode 4 of Dicecream Sandwich, we are descending through the inner stairwell within the Death House in the land of Barovia. Thanks to the children that were inviting you inside to help them deal with a monster in the basement that you decided to assist with. The group decided to go inside and begin clearing out the house as best they could, starting on the ground floor with nothing substantial happening, a few items that ended up being picked up. On the second floor, again, very little seemed to happen, but things seemed to become progressively more dusty the further up the house they went. On the third floor, an encounter with a specter seeming to guard a stillborn child that didn't actually appear in the crib, but there was a little bassinet and wrappings of where a child would normally be. Going up onto the fourth floor into the attic, you managed to find the secret door to get there, and upon getting there were greeted with a locked door, for which you did have the key. Opening the door,
That's right.
you found the dead bodies, the skeletal, long, dry corpses of 2 small children. Upon touching them, the doctor seemed to trigger reanimation of sorts, and the 2 children ended up coming back as spectral versions of themselves, this time aware they had died, in comparison to the ones outside who still believed themselves to be living. The spirits wanted you to stay, wanted you to not leave, play games with them, and generally stay with them. And when you insisted upon leaving, they ended up reaching out and touching 2 of your characters right as your Triton ally, Les, decided to take a swing. And
I didn't trust them.
I don't trust them.
And his trident passed straight through one of the spectral figures as it disappeared, and suddenly 2 of your allies started to act a little differently. One fairly normally headstrong and quite conscious and brave, suddenly became very meek, very whimpering, and very unable to really move beyond 5 feet of her allies. Comparatively, the again fairly headstrong character stayed fairly headstrong, but this time insisting and consistently wanting to go in one direction and not allowing anybody else to dissuade her.
When you're right, you're right.
Heading down, beginning to head down the spiral staircase, we pick up tonight's episode with the party deciding your marching order, please.
First.
I think I'm hanging back with Allura.
Yeah, hang back. You're at the caboose as well.
I'm gonna be right in the middle.
Third.
I'm very close to him, but
It's just like just leaving room for cheese.
there's the front, there's a large space, and then there's third.
Alright. I really hope she does well down there.
I'll be fine without you. I have to go on my own.
Are you okay, Allura?
I'm okay. I guess I'll just go with we shouldn't go down there.
Do you need to hold my hand?
Sure.
Would you feel better if we had a nap or something? Maybe a short rest.
Alrighty, so descending down the wooden spiral staircase eventually ends with a narrow tunnel stretching out, branching left and right. Taking your last few steps down, you start to hear a kind of incessant chant echoing across the walls. And we come down to our large map. but I am going to progressively cover and uncover. I'll let you guys, if you can just find a spot for that, while I quickly start to cover some stuff
I
up.
got this to cover too.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Thank you. This one is a little on the large side. If you guys descend down
So large.
the staircase over here.
What a big map.
That's a big map.
I want to cover that whole map.
You do? Cover it in what?
Like,
Do you
explore it.
You want to explore my map?
Do you want to sit on the map's face?
It's more like
Uncover.
There
Oh.
could be children
I want to-
watching this.
I really hope not.
Reveal the map. Reveal all
If
the
there's
map's
children
secrets.
watching, I hate you because you're ruining our lives right now.
My key demographic seems to be like 12 to 14 right now.
God bless.
Alright,
Actually,
Are we
that's
down
not
these
true.
stairs?
just a little towards me.
12 to
The
16,
spiral
maybe. 14 to
staircase.
16
Yeah.
probably.
So you guys emerge at the bottom of the spiral staircase and the branching path off to the left and off to the right. And I can actually open this one up just a little more. You begin to also see that there are a series of additional exits, left and right, depending on which direction you decide to move.
So we had way in front,
So
and then we had a
so.
space.
Which way does the
Let's come down this way, right?
this way?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, so we are backwards.
yeah.
We actually moonwalked down.
Oh, very good.
Oh,
Hee-hee.
we're facing that way. Okay.
This way?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it.
No, but like we can't back here because this is the staircase and this is a wall.
It's content.
I know.
folks.
Just let it be.
Just give us a moment.
So what you tune in on?
Get some Hope ASMR.
Are the black
Yeah.
spaces like rooms or walls?
the black spaces are empty, are essentially making it so that they're walls.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Thank
it's
you.
making it so that it's not confusing as to what is a room and what is not.
Perfect.
Anything filled in is hard surface.
What are these dotted lines?
Doors.
Okay.
Okay, so in front of us then is just a little chamber with some doors, yeah?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think we should explore the dungeon.
Are we all
Doy.
in the basement now?
You're all in the basement now.
Are there any lights to light? Any torches?
There are torches on the walls, but none of them are currently lit.
Pew
So
pew.
I assume lit. So
They're lit.
They're lit. As you start to proceed,
Are
the
you on
torches
fire?
do light up. They give bright light in about 5 feet and an additional dim light for another 10 feet. So you've got a fair bit of lighting here. No need to worry about that.
Kind of staying in, since I was looking for spooky shit, can I see if there's any other, if I notice anything out of the ordinary down here?
Sure, go and make a perception check.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 9.
9. Generally, it's just that slight little bit of chanting. There are words being spoken, but it's very difficult to determine what they are. It's essentially just like mumbling at this point.
Can I do a perception check then? If there are words.
Not
No.
really, yeah. It's something where if one character does that,
Hey,
you kind of have to have the original thought to do it. But
Hey, Hope, I think I can hear something being chanted. I think I've got something in there.
now you would be able to do it, though. Yes.
Chanting sound magical in nature?
You can make a perception check.
Hey guys, I think
Oh, bollocks.
Does based
Hey.
on the possession that's happened,
18.
is there any like added like memories or
Yeah,
any,
or
like,
impulses?
extra understanding?
You just simply have the impulses that
Right.
were defined to you last time.
Just the personality traits. Okay.
18?
18.
It's really tough to tell. You can't pull any specific words out. It seems to be just kind of echoing off all the walls. You would need to try and get a little closer to a source, but it's very difficult to even determine where a source might be.
Well, if we're down here, I just think we should check out these 2 doors directly in front of us.
I agree. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I know this is going to sound weird, but
Done.
be careful.
Very well, old friend. That
Why
we
would we have
shall.
to be careful?
She's freaking me out.
Les is learning. It's okay.
it's been a long day.
All right, let's look at it. And I'm just gonna
in
go
she
up
goes.
to the door. Well, I'm gonna examine the door and see if there's any like interesting aspects
What
to
does,
it.
yeah, what is this little room? I'm follow you in.
So,
I'm not
looking
gonna
in,
move me, but
along the left-hand side, you see that there is a small door, essentially just an iron door that is currently closed, and there's nothing currently on it. It's just a blank iron door, sealed. There is no window slit, no view onto the other side. On the right-hand side, however, there is a similar iron door opening in the opposite direction, but the second iron door says the word Walter on it.
Okay. Oh, I know that guy.
Was that one of the people?
That's the little baby boy.
Yes,
That's the little baby.
the dead baby.
The little dead baby.
Spending my time here before you guys got here, I explored some of these different houses, and surprises came out all the time. That's why I was so eager to just go in for
Surprises
it.
like cake.
Yeah, exact. No, not like cake. Like
Hey,
death cake.
What's on the other door? The right-hand side.
Nothing.
That's
Nothing.
the one that said. This one
one has
says
nothing.
Walter, or this one says Walter.
right hand.
Away from me says nothing. The one
Yeah.
closer to me says
Okay.
Walter. Yeah. So we'll do the same thing. I'm north.
Okay, yeah.
Want to see what's behind door 1? Or?
Yeah, let's door one.
Can we check for traps
for
on the
traps.
door?
By all means, go ahead and make an investigation check.
I can also pick it.
17.
17.
Heck, a
Door
Rooney.
does not appear to be trapped.
Okay.
Who wants to go in first?
I got a shield. I'm gonna
Is it
slowly.
locked?
Does not appear to be locked.
Okay.
The one with the biggest armor should always go first.
Yeah.
I've lost hit points,
Yeah.
so I'm not going
Hopes
to do it
They're
first.
down a few.
Okay.
I'm gonna go first just because I have the extra hit points.
Alrighty. So it's essentially just a metal rod, standard door, and just pull straight out. Door opens fairly easily. On the other side, you see that there is a blank stone slab leaning up against one of the walls, and an empty coffin on the top of a pedestal in the middle of the room.
Okay. Anything in the coffin? Anything? No.
Nothing in the room, just the empty slab and the empty coffin.
Okay.
So you are in here?
No, I'm in the other one. Yeah. So it's just a mausoleum, basically.
Well, that
Anything-
one's empty.
Anything strange about the coffin?
Make an investigation check.
Oh boy. 9.
9.
9?
Not particularly. It seems like it's somewhat ceremonial. It's inscribed with the name Durst. So
Durst, okay.
essentially awaiting
Yeah, Fred.
essentially awaiting a first name.
Okay.
But no one currently residing in it. It appears relatively untouched, never been used before.
Okay.
Durst.
That name.
That's the name of the last name of the people who.
It's Fred.
Okay.
It's Fred's grave. I think I might call out Elif.
Aye.
Why don't you pop in here and use your tingly elf senses to take a look around?
Well, I'm only doing this because I want to.
That you
Yeah.
are.
Okay. I'll sort of peek around the corners and see if I have very good vision in the dark, so I can see if there's anything.
Yeah,
Around.
looking around the room, just kind of taking a peek, looking behind everything, looking behind the stone slab. It appears like it's just an empty, unused mausoleum.
If this one is an empty room, then maybe this is the family's mausoleum, and perhaps we should look at the room with the dead child.
Elif, that sounds like a great idea for you to do.
By all means.
You're the
Go
one with
right ahead.
the extra armor. Why don't you open the door and I'll stand back here with my arrow drawn.
I mean, I just think it's such a great idea for you to have to open it.
I don't really do it.
Knock me over, why not?
No,
Are you losing your nerve, Doctor?
The doctor hasn't survived this long by opening random doors to dead children.
I think whoever opens it should do a check for traps on this one.
Yeah, and I got
Yeah.
nothing on that.
I'll examine the door and see if it looks like it's.
Okay, make an investigation check.
16.
Does not appear to be trapped.
Leaf, do you want to come with me to check out the second group of doors?
I'm good to check those out if you want.
Yeah.
Oh yes, let's split the party.
Well, not that fucking far apart.
Just
Jesus.
a mausoleum, guys.
Grow some balls, you human.
Half elf.
Okay.
I know.
I'm gonna
Human.
push the
How
door
dare
open
you.
and see sort of
was meant
outside,
to
but
be
I'll look
an
in and see
insult.
what's there.
So, pulling the door and then leaning over to the side. This one, again, has a coffin set upon a pedestal. It is a smaller coffin. but it also does not have a stone slab covering across. The stone slabs appear to be leaning up against the wall as well.
Can I see into it from where I'm standing?
You can. It doesn't appear like the coffin was ever used.
Okay.
At least not at first glance. It looks very similar to the one in the other room.
Okay, so it's all empty. Okay, I'll step into the room and sort of take a closer look.
Sure. Looking around the room, very similar to the other one. There does appear to be some kind of scratching on the outside of the coffin. Nothing on the inside, but kind of like dents slightly almost, because it is just it's reinforced wood, but almost like dents in the wood a little bit.
Like somebody was trying to open it or get in?
Like somebody was
Trying to get at it.
angry, like just wanting to maybe thinking about destroying it. You're not sure.
Well, this is boring.
That's yours.
So,
you two on to the next room.
Yes.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna follow along with that.
Perfect. So you can pull that a little bit closer.
So
Do you
we've
want to
approached.
follow?
Yeah,
you
let's
can pull
go
that a
in.
little closer.
I would like want to be not too far away from
Yeah,
everyone.
I agree.
Perfect.
I'm also gonna light
Behold.
torches
Okay.
along the way.
So you see, walking further down, you've got
Over there?
another set
Thank you.
of
See.
double crypts on the left
try
and
those.
on the right as well.
Okay.
So going into the ones that you're walking down the hallway and then turning into the left. On these ones, on the one just on the other side of me, so on the south side, that one you see the name Gustav written on the door, and the one, and the one closer to me, you see the name Elizabeth walking on the door.
Okay.
Those are the names of the parents.
Leif, you're pretty intuitive to these things. Which one do you think we should go into first?
Well,
Is this okay to write on with
Oh
pencil?
Oh my god.
the
I did not think.
Is this okay to write on with pencil?
Those?
It'll
Yeah,
erase.
totally.
It'll
No,
erase, right?
those are garbage now. You've used those maps. There's nothing I can do with
Oh
them.
no, like this. Is it okay?
That? Oh, no, not with pencil.
Okay.
No, yeah, those ones need water dry erase.
Yeah. This dad seemed like real, he kind of seemed to run the joint around here. We can see if he's up to anything.
We have a dry erase
I
marker?
don't know if
Yep.
really it's a good idea to be pushing around other people's grave sites. I don't know. Try to
Well, let's dig around.
I kind of agree with Leif on this one. I wouldn't want to disturb any
Thank you.
dead people's
So,
things.
But what if they have fancy
Walter,
things with them?
well,
This was
true.
Elizabeth.
Gustav.
And then Elizabeth.
Indeed.
If you want to steal from the dead, that's your business. But I keep to myself in those matters.
But we're not going to learn anything if we don't open the doors. Clearly,
Alright.
the parents are the people behind what's
Yeah.
happening here.
Out of respect, I will open the dad's door. With all respect.
Open Big Papa door.
That's the
Okay, yeah, I can kick.
this one.
I'll kick back into the.
Alright. Opening this door. Ever so. Check for traps on the door.
Okay, go ahead and make investigation checks, both of you.
Me too?
Yep.
13.
12.
Neither door appears to be trapped.
Okay. I'm gonna take my trident and just kind of like.
It's a pull.
Pardon me.
It's a pull.
Just fork it
Oh, it's a
open.
pull.
It's a pull.
Oh. Alright.
Also a stone door.
I've got my arrow notch and I'm just behind you there.
Yeah. So,
Doors at
this
work
one here.
Yeah.
Or a pull door, but like it should be a push door, and it looks like a push door, and so every day, it's a pull door.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's-
it's a Norman door then. Fun fact.
Alright,
Called
well
a
then.
Norman door?
Yeah, those doors.
Oh, when it just like doesn't make
yeah,
sense.
yeah, it doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
that one's yours, right?
Named after Don Norman.
I'm going to pull the door
Yeah.
open and have my trident out, just ready to strike
One-handed at
in
the
case
ready.
something comes on the other side.
Okay. Door opens. It's an unlit room. Wait a couple of seconds. Nothing appears to happen.
Doctor, light me.
Pew pew.
Alright. In the center, the stone slab is etched with the name Gustav Durst. The chamber beyond contains an empty coffin atop a stone pedestal.
Empty as well.
Empties.
Another empty coffin.
Alright.
There is a good chance that these people might be wandering around this.
Anything strange about the coffin? Like there was scratches on the baby one?
Make an investigation check.
Can I walk in and see if there's like any? Can I investigate the inside of the coffin? Like see if it was like pushed open from the inside?
Sure. So it's a massive stone slab that's leaning up against one of the walls.
Oh, okay. So could I just see if there's like claw marks or something on the inside?
Sure.
But wait, let Jesse
Investigation check.
complete his.
Yes, investigation check. You can roll that. In your case, looking inside, doesn't appear like anything's out of the ordinary. It seems to just be another empty coffin.
A lot of
Make your
those
check.
down here.
Yeah, that's gonna be like a 4 or something.
4.
Yeah.
Shame I didn't get
Doesn't
into selling
it appears to be
coffins.
very similar to the other ones. Dusty. It definitely hasn't been used or moved in quite some time.
I'm gonna go open the door to Elizabeth and peek in as well.
3.
Okay. Opening the door. The door opens without any real issue. Inside this one, you see that the same the stained coffin is atop the stone pedestal, but instead of the slab being leaned up against one of the walls, it's actually just down on the floor.
On the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, the coffin's empty.
Coffin is empty, and you can't see a name on the stone slab.
Like walking the dinosaur.
How's it going up ahead?
It's kind of a bust in here, guys.
We've
Should
been
we check out
finding
the
a
other
lot
ones?
of empty coffins, which
Mm,
makes me
super
think that these people, A, may be running around, or C, that's the alphabet, right?
What we
A-C.
might say is that we've made a grave error.
Did you say there was something different about Elizabeth, the Elizabeth room with the coffin?
Her slab's on the floor.
I think I might have a look to see if I can lift it, see if there's anything underneath it.
Sure, go and make a strength check.
Bollocks. 8.
8. Start to get your fingers underneath it a little bit, and you begin to lift. It strains your muscles a little bit, and it actually just slips right out of your hands. You're not quite able to lift it.
As the,
Can I make a perception check what it sounds like when it lands? Like if there's like a hollow sound or something
Sure.
when it drops?
Yeah.
Let's say 20.
20. It appears solid. It's a stone slab. Hope is unable to lift it.
Anything in the coffin?
Looking inside, go and make an investigation check.
so everyone's in here now.
7.
7.
Standing
So kind of leaning in
on the
and like
wall.
feeling in along the inside. You're looking for any kind of scrape marks or anything like that. You just hear a slight in the right-hand side in the back wall of the room, and a swarm of insects
Oh!
descends outside of the back, apparently triggered by somebody leaning into the coffin. So
Guys,
I
I
need
really
everybody
think
to
it's a
roll
bad idea.
initiative for me, please.
It's just bugs, guys. It's just bugs.
I'm gonna use these guys.
At least
to
when I
denote-
knocked over doors, nothing
I'm
bad
gonna use
ever
these guys to
happened.
denote
wildly
two
disagree with
swarms
that.
of insects.
20.
16.
That's a natural 2.
13.
You're too at the
What is there? It's dexterity, right? Is the
We're taking
initiative
up the
bonus?
caboose.
Wait, dude,
Yes.
we're
That's
like
right.
not even in the room. They're all getting fucked
Ah,
up
okay.
first.
Hey guys, you alright in there?
We'll hit something shift.
I got it.
Yeah, so who is in the room right now?
Me.
Me.
Jesse,
I'm standing right outside.
Hope are in the room.
I just opened the
And-
door. I didn't.
Yeah, I would have been further back,
Just
but
listening.
like not
Around
at
the
the back.
Yeah, you didn't go into the room.
We're all like standing out here
I can
in
say
the
I can
hallway.
do with Allure if you're
Well, you
spooked.
checked.
That's true, yeah. I was
Just-
listening.
You're with me.
Yes, always spooked.
That's right, actually, Leaf. Yeah, you were in there.
For the
We're
time
in.
being,
Hey guys,
always
never mind.
spooked.
I was around the corner listening.
Oh,
The whole gang's in here.
that insect looks pretty gross.
Understand?
So it's a very large swarm of centipedes, 2 of them, that come
I
out of
don't
the
like
walls and
that.
immediately start crawling down the walls and go into what almost looks like an attack pattern, coming in and coming after you guys.
Do
So
one of
I
Delta
need
pattern. The flying V.
A consummate V.
I need initiatives 25 to 20, please.
20.
20, perfect.
Hooba, hooba.
Okay, 20 to 15,
16.
16.
Uba's tank.
15 to 10,
13.
13.
11.
That old 2 and 3 back.
Yeah. Well, I should say actually it's a 5 with
What was
my
your initiative?
With
Ooh.
your initiative?
Wow.
Damn.
Oh, sorry, 3.
Sorry, lethal.
Is it
I got
3?
5.
It's a 3.
3.
Even better.
Solid number.
Playing D&D.
Okay. Top of the round, Hope, you are not currently in the room. The room is occupied by your allies. There isn't really a way for you to get inside because it's just a 5-foot wide room. So you are able to stand outside because you can only, one character can only occupy 1 square.
Oh, shit.
Oh damn it.
Yeah,
why did I
so
have
you
to
can
go in
stand
there?
outside of the room and kind of like poke in, but that's about the best you can do. So everybody needs to be on their own unique square. Perfect.
Yeah, that makes sense, I think.
So yeah, so you
Wait,
are,
so who's in the room right now?
Me and Alif.
yeah, Dr.
Alif,
Miller.
which
Oh, okay.
What are
I'm
you?
standing right outside.
Oh, you're outside? Okay.
So who's
I guess that's me.
Leaf and the doctor are inside.
All right.
right?
Well, no,
okay.
Sorry. Hope would be in the room because you tried to lift the slab.
Oh, that's right.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So Hope
Do we
and-
want to
Hope is in
retcon
the
that I
room.
was listening around the corner?
I think that works.
Well, it kind of works. Your
you were
passive,
listening
your
from the
passive is high enough.
Because I opened
Yeah,
the
you
door,
were
so I
open
was
the door.
standing right
So
there.
I'm like legit around the corner. Hey guys. Just come
Alrighty, so Hope, you are in the room. You see one of the swarms starts to encroach on you very, very quickly, skittering across the floor. What would you like to do?
Sorry, got distracted.
Oh,
There's noises
There was
down
some
here.
small bird
How many
chittering
are there?
around.
I think I would have my. I think I would like to attack. I've got my longsword in one hand, my shield in the other.
Okay. Perfect. So go ahead and make your attack. So roll a d20, add your strength and your proficiency.
That is 15.
15. 15 will hit. Go ahead and roll damage. So it's 1d8 plus your strength.
1d8.
Done.
look at all your shiny yellow dice.
So devious.
So what was that again?
So it's 1d8 plus your strength modifier.
8.
8. Perfect. 8 points of damage. Nicely done.
Woo. How
Okay.
many centipedes? There's two.
There's
right
two
now?
groups of a series of large centipedes, so it's considered a swarm of centipedes.
Oh, it's so
Okay.
gross to see it just like with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think of it
Yeah.
very much
Death
like
House.
the Temple of Doom.
Death House.
Well, the Temple of Doom little arm slot that she has to put her arm
Oh,
down
yeah.
that's in
Yeah.
there. That kind of thing.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's gonna be a no
that's your
for me.
attack.
Yes.
Perfect. Would you like to stay in the room, or would you like to move past your allies to get out of the room?
I think. Oh shit! You don't have that much of a score. I will go into a. Does anyone else want to fight these centipedes, or should I just take a defensive position?
Anyone who's got area of effect will do very well.
I would
against
recommend you
those.
take a defensive position.
We're,
I have a
Okay,
plan.
I go into a defensive
The plan
position.
involves-
Okay, so raising your shield, preparing yourself for any kind of bugs that'll start crawling up and inside your armor.
Oh, gross.
On from there, Leaf.
All right. I got my bow out and ready to go, and I'm going to fire an arrow at these awful creatures.
Perfect. So the ones coming down inside the far
Arrow
side of the room, you can go
insects.
ahead and take your shot.
Die, ants!
I mean, like, it would kill them anyway.
There is a very large.
There's a clump. I can get the clump.
Yeah, there's a very large clump of them kind of crawling over
Yeah,
each
yeah.
other, and legs just everywhere, and you can just hear the.
Sorry, it's D20 plus my dex
D20
bonus,
plus
right?
dex
Yeah.
plus proficiency.
Plus proficiency. Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, 10, 12.
12 hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
There's quite a lot of them initially, so it's
Yeah.
not difficult to hit at least a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's just D8, or is it
D8 plus
my-
dex.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Oh, 8.
Ooh.
12.
12. Nicely done.
Wow.
So that one arrow kind of aiming it at one of them, and then you just kind of realize, not quite, and you aim just a little further down. It skitters, impacts against the ground, impaling several of them, and throwing them off
Nice.
against the
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yes.
On from
You're
there.
gonna hipster.
I finally get a turn as a creature. Oh my gosh.
Oh
I
yeah,
get
it's the
to
first
do
time
things.
you're actually doing
I know,
a
it's
thing.
the first time I've really been able to do things.
NPC fucking rocking it.
Exactly. So, first set of Swarm is going to be the one that is attacking against Hope. So, Hope, this is going to be a one attack made against you. That is, natural 3. That's a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. No.
But your AC is way
Yeah.
higher.
And then this is going to be another Swarm attacking you. That's a natural 2. Now, I guess I don't get to do anything then. Awesome.
You tried.
Double check.
Jordy.
I'm making sure I don't have
You tried.
multi-attack. Hang on. Gotta make sure I don't have multi-attack.
Wow, sour grapes.
Yeah, totally. I'm
Actually,
allowed.
there's a thing here that says you
No
just
melee
win.
weapon attack. Darn. Okay. So the
It's less
centipede or the
effective.
massive centipedes do come down. They do get up onto your armor, essentially trying to get in through any of the breaks. But rather than batting them away, you just seem to be like locking your legs, so the plates just intertwine with themselves. In your case, you're actually just not doing anything because they can't quite get past and actually get out the door to you. But they are currently occupying the squares that you guys are on. This is one of their traits, is they can kind of stomp under feet. Already on from there, Doctor.
Okay, so there's 2 swarms, and they're in the little area.
Correct. You only really have line of sight on one of them right now.
On 1 swarm. Okay. I'm just gonna Eldritch Blast it then.
Go for it.
That's the D20.
Yeah, D20 plus charisma plus proficiency.
Oh. 12 plus. Where are you? 4 plus. Where's my proficiency?
Top left.
Top left. I'm a dumb. Plus 2. Oh, so 18.
18. 18 does hit.
Nice.
You're gonna roll damage. 1d10 plus your charisma.
10. This guy here. Okay. 1 plus 4, so 5.
5. Alrighty. 5 points of damage as a few more of the giant centipedes get blasted off. These ones actually breaking apart and the blood spattering.
Take
into the
that,
walls.
assholes.
Alrighty, that's
You
your
fucking
action. Do
exist.
you want to do anything as a bonus action? Do you have a
I'm
spell?
gonna try and skitter out the room.
Sure.
You leave hope in there for
Well,
yourself.
so I can get better range on them.
Yeah.
Can he get past?
Oh,
Hope,
sorry,
though?
you're inside the room. I need you to attack at disadvantage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you're using a ranged spell within 5 feet, it's very difficult to aim. Think of it
Okay.
like aiming a gun point blank.
That's what you get
So,
for
roll
leaving them
another
all
D20.
alone.
Yeah.
And
In
add
the
6 to it, and we'll just see if you still hit.
Okay.
You probably will.
This is better. This is a 20.
Okay, so there we go.
Oh.
So I made you wasted, but you were still able to make that hit. If you would like to leave the room, you can do so. What that'll incur, though, is the creatures will get
Oh, they get
an
a-
attack of opportunity,
right.
which is that you're trying to get away, and so a couple of them will be able to make an attempt to bite you.
Okay.
It's up to you to decide if you wanted to still do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna skitter out the room still.
Okay, perfect. So the ones beside you are going to go ahead and make an attack against you. That is, that's a natural 20. Oh, that's bad.
Uh-oh.
That's real bad.
When your DM says, "Oh, that's bad."
And the second one, as you start to go again, well, actually,
Because it's just the one that I
no, I know.
Right?
I'm going to roll damage first.
Okay.
Is everyone good in there?
Okay, that's 3.
Oh, don't you have any radiant, like, area of effect damage you can do?
I didn't do it with that one. I didn't use my spell.
Let's just push, guys.
Well,
And we've
but,
got. I've only
We
got.
got a long night ahead.
Okay, so
I've only got
but
2
if you
spell slots
cripple
ahead.
yourself,
the
then
doctor
stop.
takes 20 points of
Wow.
piercing damage,
Oh, that's why.
oh.
44, and I critted, so it's 8d4
Wow.
points of damage.
Wow.
Yeah, so you take 20 points of
Fuck.
piercing damage.
Oh boy. So
So-
that's. Oh, hold up. Yeah, I'm at -1.
So you have your temporary hit points
Yeah.
that will go first, and then
Yeah.
you got 13 on top of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that one hit instinctively, as you go to turn, one of them just actually managed to crawl up in beside and actually just latches onto your
Oh,
neck
boy.
and goes real deep, and then a series of additional bites along your body.
Mm-hmm.
You start to just feel yourself start to seize, and you begin to fall unconscious. So you get actually knocked prone. The other one does not get an attack because you never left its space. But where you are, you can currently fall over. Can somebody turn his mini sideways, please?
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I rolled really well. on
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah. Maximum damage on that is 32.
Jordan.
Level
I
2.
no longer fight
Level
you.
2. We can't do shit.
That's why I was like, they get an attack of opportunity. Choice is up to the player. So you do fall prone there. You are unconscious,
Yeah.
but you're okay for a little while at least. Next on from there is Allura. What would you like to do?
I'm terrified.
So you especially like starting to bring your bow out and just kind of actually going to aim a shot and then immediately seeing the doctor fall. I actually need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Why?
See if you can
Why?
take an action on your turn or if you are just too scared.
9.
9. You are essentially locked in fear of what just happened, seeing this person that you revere as
But
somebody
can
who
I
is
see?
strong.
I can't see in the room.
You can't see
Terrified
in the
from
room,
the
but you just
screams
hear
of
you
agonizing
just hear
death from the doctor.
straining and blood curdling, and then
anyway.
as a large object hits the ground,
Okay.
and you just kind of have to spend your turn just like kneeling down, hugging your knees.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Leaf, you're up next.
So can I move into those spaces?
You kind of. You would be able to move. I'll say that you would be able to move into the space with the doctor because he's unconscious, but you wouldn't be able to end your turn there.
Okay, that's fine. I just need to get in and get out.
Yeah, that's fine. You'd be able to do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in.
Sure. Move up next beside him. Yeah, you're fine. You're in there beside him.
Yeah. I'm gonna cast Spare the Dying.
Okay.
So that will restore him to.
Aha!
I think one.
Yes. Please.
Spare the Dying, I think, just stabilizes him. Yeah. So you're at 0 hit points, but you are not unconscious and dying.
Yeah.
And
You just won't wake up for... You need to roll a d4 to determine how many hours it'll take for him to wake up. Without additional healing.
Okay, yeah. Unless we want to... I don't know, like, do we want to... Like, I can just fix him once we're out of this, but...
Yeah. So you do go in, you use your cantrip Spare the Dying to stabilize him. I do remember it's just stabilize.
So 0 hit points.
So you have 0 hit points, so you're prone. You are not dying, but
Still
you
not doing great.
can't do anything.
And I can just get back out of there?
Yeah, we'll say that you can do
Can you
that.
take him up?
Is that can I pick him up? Or is that a...
That would be forced movement. You would only be able to move at half your speed. You'd only be able to get him 1 square, so there wouldn't be anything you could do there. You can get in, you can Spare the Dying on him, and you can quickly get out of the room.
But you could maybe get in there and get him.
Old friend.
There we go.
But,
Old friend.
yeah.
Business relationships
So
have come to
that
play.
Spare the Dying is an action. I
Yeah.
think. So a bonus action, if you'd like, you could use another cantrip if you wanted to cast Sacred Flame.
Okay.
Oh, you could do that.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Okay, well,
Light
that.
them
I'll hit the guys.
Yeah, go for it. Do you want to hit the
Pew,
ones that
pew.
are on him or the ones beside?
The one's on.
Perfect.
I think.
So we'll say that you
I mean,
kind of
unless
lean
lighting
in.
them on
You
fire.
Sacred Flame before you go into the room.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and make a dex save on that.
Yeah,
What's your DC?
14.
14. Yeah, that's a 3.
So
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So
I like these
1d.
dice.
28 radiant.
Except for the ones.
It's the same die. It's like 2,
Yeah, it's a
3,
3.
20. 3?
Would you not
Alright, so
have
3
anything
points.
on that?
Do you add the spell attack modifier?
You don't.
Yeah,
No,
okay,
for this
I
it's
did-
just
I didn't
straight
think
to
so.
damage.
Yeah, so it's just 3.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
can't
otherwise
do
it would
guys.
be better than the Elder's Blast.
Right? Yeah.
Alrighty, so that is your turn. Les.
Cook them a little and jump in.
Last in the order.
Any chance you can dive in there, do some wall action?
Parkour off the walls.
For these squares,
Yeah.
is there room to like get in range of things, or are we too bunched up in here for me to do anything?
I'll
or-
say, given this, you would be able to essentially like squish inside one square, leaning up against a wall to do something, but you can't end your turn there. You need to move in and then move out.
All right. Who here has oil? Anyone here have oil?
No one here has oil.
There's oil on my body.
Glisten.
I have
Oh, well,
I
yes.
have 2 tinder boxes and torches.
Oh,
Do you actually have oil?
I straight up have oil because I've been
Can
carrying.
anyone in the room pass his oil to me?
I'm in the room, so
You're in the room, but it's not their turn. They can't do anything. It's your turn. You can do things.
So my flaming throwing axe program
Absolutely
going
not.
to work. I was gonna go.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right.
oh shit! I'm resistant to all fire damage
Yeah.
as well.
That was my plan with burning hands.
But we do have torches.
You have torches, yeah?
All right. And
We've been lighting it up all the way.
Yeah. The room is lit. Like, you can see the insects now starting to crawl all over the doctor's
but since there's so
unconscious
many
body.
of them, if I were to throw a torch in there, would that do any area of effect?
Absolutely not. A torch is not a weapon.
All right. It's just if I had oil, maybe. But fuck.
Absolutely not. You just light the doctor on fire.
He's dead anyway. Move along.
Next.
Alright, so
Alright.
we get into range here.
Yep.
Get a
And you'd
look
be
in
able
the
to
door
throw.
and kind of shout in there. If
You
you
can't move the other
Yeah, you
people,
can't
though.
move
You
other
can't
people. You're
move other
just
people.
occupying somebody else's space temporarily
I'm just gonna
while you
just
make an attack.
go there then.
Yeah. So you'd be able to melee attack one just inside the room, or you could make a ranged attack on the ones that are attacking the dead doctor. Or the unconscious doctor, I should say.
Thank you. Not dead yet.
Yeah.
Easier to say
Not a
dead.
dead doctor.
so what's your next character?
Yeah, does everyone have a backup?
I got a plan.
Is this a cool insurance salesman?
He's a lawyer.
It's not much I can do.
He doesn't get stabby.
I can, but I want to protect the one near you. Because if you
Aw.
get hit, next one.
And we're old
fucking
friends.
Gonna go back into convulsions. I can throw my hand axe,
You can?
right?
Yep.
So I am going to throw said hand axe at the one nearest to the doctor,
Okay, go and do that. So it's a d20, add your strength and your proficiency.
and I get dueling added damage if I hit it.
Not for thrown weapons, I don't think.
Is it only
Oh,
for?
yeah.
I think it's only for melee. I'll double
Yeah,
check though.
it is. I
Dueling?
was just realizing or reading that for.
Yeah. Dueling
I'm glad I didn't waste
melee
hands.
weapon in one hand. Yep.
Okay. 13.
13 does hit.
Plus
Plus strength plus proficiency. So
Right,
it's
so
plus 5.
3, 4, yeah, it's 13 plus 4.
Plus
Oh, sorry,
Plus
5.
five.
13 plus
so
5.
18. 18 does hit. So go ahead and roll damage on that. So it's for hand axe, I think it's 1d6.
1d6, yeah.
Yeah, so 1d6 plus your strength.
Jeezy
Gone
crazy.
forever.
Jeezy crazy. It's a 2.
2
Plus strength is 3.
plus 3 is 5. Alrighty. Good to know. So the last few of them start to get cleared out. There's just one large one perched right on his chest that you didn't want to actually throw your hand axe at for fear of hitting him directly.
Hits it, he wakes up.
Just kind of like starting to keel its head back and preparing
Like
to
a
go
thing
in
from
for another
Alien.
bite. Yeah, reverse though because it's going
Oh,
inside
oh,
instead of going
Right,
out.
so I didn't hit it?
No, you hit the majority of
Good
it.
thing
There's
there's a coffin
one
right
left
there.
that's just sitting on his chest. Seems to be the lone survivor.
Find the next character.
And then-
Oh, here we go.
Hey guys.
I've been here so long.
I can't do anything else, can I?
You just have to get out though.
So then I move back that way.
Give me 1 second here. Oh no, you're dueling. Never mind. You've got a shield. Yeah. Okay, so that's yours. Okay, top of the round, Hope.
Okay, again, going to attack. This time, I think, would Divine Smite assist with radiant damage or not?
So the radiant damage would still go through. If you hit something, you would be able to just deal an additional 2d8 damage to it. That essentially all you're doing is you're bestowing your hit and then just forcing radiant energy into that body to try and detonate it inside. So radiant damage affects 99% of creatures.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
It's not
shit.
like it's undead only. It's just especially good against undead. You get an extra bonus when you do it against an undead creature.
Okay. Oh yeah, I have actually wrote that down.
There you go.
Okay.
So if you'd like, whichever one you would like to attack, you can go ahead and do that. With the single one that's over the doctor's body, it looks like it would probably go down in one hit. The series of them that are crawling all over you might take a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the ones against me, and I'm going to see how I roll first before I choose to do Divine Smite.
Big perk of that. Yeah, go ahead and do it.
I'm obsessed with the laugh.
Oh.
Is it for strength and proficiency?
Strength and proficiency, yeah.
8.
8 unfortunately does not hit. You've got them crawling all over you, and you're essentially taking your sword and like scaling it down your body, trying to get them
Help,
of
get
you.
out of there!
But you're not able to get any purchase on any of them.
They're gonna bring them with them.
That's good, because then we
Oh,
can
oh,
300
right.
funnel them out of
That
there.
is your attack.
Yeah. 'Cause
So what you can do, actually I'm trying to remember because I think you have this, is lay on hands.
I do have lay on hands.
Yeah, and I think lay on hands is an action if I'm not mistaken.
I've made so many sex jokes about lay on hands.
Don't
I
stop
have it-
now.
I know.
Well, I
Keep
have
it
it
going.
as
One.
a
Well, he's
feature
prone.
or trait.
Yeah, as an action. So so not able to do it now because you've attacked, but in the future because you've got that pool
I
of hit
know.
points.
I was thinking
can
of
start to do
waiting
that.
for a little.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's up to you to decide, but that is a good option as well, just in the future.
Yes, so if I were to try and leave the room, would it leave me more vulnerable to attack, or will I get attacked regardless?
So a creature may make one reaction a turn. You're all the same way. If a creature leaves your space, you get a free swing at that creature once until your turn comes around. So one of them has already used that, the other one hasn't. So if you do move away, it would get an attack against you as you tried to get out of the room.
But if I remain in the room, will I still get an attack regardless?
You'll get an attack on their turn, whenever that is.
Two
But
of
you
them
don't. They
in the same
may
room with you.
expire by the time
You
their
what,
turn
sorry?
comes
There's
around.
2 of them in the same room with you. So if you stay there and wait, the next turn is once their turn, 2 of them can hit you at once rather than just one having a chance at you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the risk of leaving.
Sounds good. Alrighty, so starting to make your way out. You've got 6 squares of movement wherever you'd like to put yourself. You just need to end on an empty square. They're going to make 1 attack of opportunity against you. That's a natural 1.
Yes!
Ooh.
So get out of there.
So
Oh,
that
thank God.
reaction has now been
We'll do a
blown.
300 maneuver.
There you go. So you end on an empty square on the other side.
Hey-ho.
You're too
It's not a very
exhausted.
stable figurine.
Yes.
You're too
Well, it's 'cause
exhausted.
the bottom isn't on it, so you can like paint them easier.
Oh yeah.
And then you glue it to the bottom, which I just haven't done yet.
That's all good.
Alright.
Alrighty, so Hope making your way out of the room. They are safe. Elith. Got 2 groups in front.
Shoot
One
the
directly
shit.
beside you and one giant one perched up on top of the doctor's body preparing to strike down.
Yeah.
Do the old William Tell on it.
I will fire the one on the doctor.
Okay, go and make your shot.
Take the shot.
Take the shot!
Now one just lands in his leg.
Ooh.
So 24.
20.
Whoa!
That'll hit. Go and roll your damage. So
Get into the wall.
1d8 plus.
Oh, come up, buddy!
7.
7. So with 2 hit points left, that single one begins to do its strike down as you impale it straight through the top of his head and through its body, pinning it against the coffin up against the other side. So that other one on top of the doctor has expired. You can go ahead and pull that off.
Yeah.
There's still another one in there.
So there's just the one more
friend.
swarm?
So now there's one more swarm that
Okay.
is looking fairly small. It seems to be about a third as large as it was originally.
Okay.
I've already hit that swarm once, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Me too.
Yeah, you both hit it once.
Not
Alrighty.
bad today.
So with this one, now we come up to the swarm's turn. So the swarm is going to go ahead and make a 50-50 of which one it's going to attack. That's a 3. That is on the left. It is going to go ahead and make an attack against Leaf. So this is going to be an attack against you, which will be
Not a crit.
not a crit, but it's a 19. So that'll be 22 to hit. So 22 hits you.
Yep.
44 points of damage.
A leaf and
That's
leaf.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You take 11 points of damage, of piercing damage.
Yeah, I only have 6 HP. So,
Okay,
Oh!
yeah.
He's taking a couple of hits.
We've barely even been in this goddamn room and a bunch of insects
Hey
have
guys,
killed our
should
party.
have taken a nap.
Unconscious, you fall, so you fall to the ground beside that swarm. Go ahead and knock your character prone. And with their movement, they're going to go ahead and start moving out towards, and they're going to occupy the same space that... we'll say occupy the same space that Allura's in.
What?
Yeah.
That's quite a far movement.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I apologize. Who's next to that?
I'm gonna be.
Oh, that's
Leaf.
Leaf. Sorry, yours
Leaf
was.
and a leaf.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, why would they pass by like 4 people?
Bye guys.
No, they're passing over the one now unconscious body and
Right.
then going to the next
Yeah,
standing
but
creature.
I was further out.
Alrighty.
Makes
So
sense.
Doctor's up next. Doctor is unconscious, so no actions can be taken there. Allura, you are up this time. I need you to make another Wisdom saving throw.
Damn fuck.
This is
3?
a horrible
3.
start.
You are
You
again
were
just
right.
paralyzed, like starting to
I
get
can't
yourself
do
back,
I told you this was a
starting
bad
to
idea.
feel yourself come back, and then just like, okay,
You don't miss
okay,
out
I
on
can do this.
stuff.
I can. Oh god! And then you see Elif fall. You instinctively just start clutching your knees again and just turn your back to everything. You're currently facing away, unable to take any actions. Leaf.
Yeah.
It is your turn.
Okay, cool. So, hey guys,
Question.
I'm gonna take a
Answer.
longer nap than I was thinking after
Leaf,
this.
it's gonna be up to us.
Can I ask you a question
Yeah.
for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
For your cure wounds or those ones that's like the cantrip,
Yeah.
does it say
It's
like
a first level spell.
oh
cure wounds
okay
is a first
okay
Any healing is a first level
Yeah,
spell.
spare the dying
Okay.
is a cantrip, but it just brings them back from like a death saving throw.
right
Exactly.
Yeah, I also have lay on hand, so I can restore HP.
You can.
okay
So
but there's
I
nothing
can-
that like potentially could like get rid of this stupid
You had to
Possession.
touch the goddamn
in the
It was
wording
shiny.
of those.
There is a spell that would do that potentially, but it's a much higher level
Yeah.
spell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just
We can
look
figure
for-
that out.
Okay. Sorry.
Um,
I have
Continue
my,
your
yeah,
turn.
I have my
That
idea.
said,
But
though,
Can-
with your frustration right now at seeing all of this and not being able to do anything, can I get you to make an insight check?
$13.
13? Okay. Good to know.
Take that, live stream.
Bye, everyone.
That's what I think about
Rip
that.
Alright.
Sorry.
Live stream.
Down.
Allura just
so
told you
sorry.
to F yourself.
She just earthbent the
Yeah,
phone.
we'll
Except
just...
Dragon Prince fans, you guys are still great.
Yeah.
No, that's
Okay,
good.
well, that's why this is happening. Oh, there we go.
One of our
Okay.
chickens died tonight.
While I have the
Oh,
Yeah, she
Okay.
was starting to get sick.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, we're good.
We
Alrighty,
had her
so...
for a while, so she was one of the older
One
ones.
of the older ones.
Yeah. We only have one left now. We need to get more. Sorry.
Yeah,
Anyway,
more
everyone.
chickens. Always.
Cool.
Good to know. Alrighty, so
just
Leaf,
kill these
what would you like to do?
Yeah,
Kill those motherfuckers.
yeah, I think I'm just gonna
Pew, pew.
Sacred Flame.
Get it.
Oh yeah, sorry. So it's a 14.
That's a 15.
Oh, that's exactly
It's
what I
safe.
didn't want to hear. So if I was to pull out of that area, it'd be an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, most likely.
Okay.
But also, if they move, you can also get an attack of opportunity.
If they're occupying your space and they move more than 5 feet away from you, so 1 square between you, then you get an attack of opportunity.
Okay. Okay.
That's fine. They're
So think of it like
they're
you're fighting
essentially-
someone, they're starting to get hurt, they turn their back to you, you get a swing at their back.
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'm just gonna kind of stand, defend, kind of stand my ground.
Yeah, so it's your bonus action to cast Sacred Flame.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Or is it? No, sorry, it's an action.
Yeah,
Action.
yeah, it's an
sorry,
action.
never mind.
Yeah,
so you could bonus action spare the dying.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry. Sacred Flame is a cantrip.
It's a cantrip, but I think it's an action, it's not a bonus action.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but spare the dying, I think, is a bonus action.
Yeah.
Which we could do possibly
yeah,
on
I'm gonna do that on
Kaylee.
Okay, so on a leaf. So
Okay.
a
Spare
leaf,
me.
you are spared, so you are not bleeding out any longer.
Great.
But you are still unconscious to
Do
awaken
that
in
stuff.
1 to
One of
4
those
hours.
just reaching over,
Well,
like
let's do it
stuff
from
flying
now.
over.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's like, you're gonna be
Leave the
fine.
stomping to the profession.
Alright.
Old friend.
Bottom of the round, Les.
Not-
Les, what would you like to do?
Stabby.
What did I miss?
I didn't do
That's a
anything.
stabby noise.
You got
Save me
one
from dying.
swarm still fairly intact
What
right
a
next to you.
bunch of amateurs. Leave this to the Triton.
Dude, why'd you have to say that? It's gonna
Fish
be in that
eat
one.
bugs. So the bug
They're
is
you're right there.
You're right
They're
next
right
to
in the
you.
beside them.
hallway.
You can, yeah, you don't
right.
even
Well,
need
it's
to.
time for stabby, tritey, tritey.
Mhm.
That is what we call it.
Make an attack.
And this, I would get the +2 damage.
Right, because you're in melee.
That's a 6.
You're having
Plus
horrible rolls.
Was it plus?
5,
strength,
right?
plus
Strength.
proficiency.
Yeah, right. 5.
So 11.
It's an 11.
11 just misses, unfortunately.
I do get an extra move though, right, with action surge.
If you would like to use your action surge, you would be able to make an additional attack.
I do it.
Okay, go ahead. So, surging through you, a little bit of extra power comes to you.
That's a 15.
Thank God.
15 does hit.
Plus 5.
Is that with your +5?
That is with the +5.
Okay.
We're gonna
So
do the
go ahead and roll-
1d8.
So it's 1d. No, it's 1d6 because you're really one-handed, but you get to add your strength and an additional 2.
Right.
So you're gonna add 5 instead of adding 3.
The 8 is
6.
The 6. Sorry. Oh, 6.
The 10. Just keep going.
The 20. I
I would
believe in
love
you.
to see a weapon do 1d20 damage. That'd be awesome.
Just a meteor hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That was-
not anywhere near it. That's cocked.
Oh
That's
my god!
Oh my god.
What's happening?
Bomb spaghetti.
my friend's fate is in my hands.
The tension.
3
You
plus
rolled
5.
3 every single time there. I think it was just a
So
3.
8.
Okay.
8.
So 8. Similar situation. One giant one remains as you start to just poke and stab in a series of swings. You impale a lot of them, but there's one more that's just starting to crawl up leaf and preparing for its dinner.
What's up?
Top of the round, Hope.
Yes.
Oh, but you want to help me
Outside
out
of the room, you see the one single one as Leaf just starts to throw his arm out, and it's just a single large centipede starting to crawl up his arm. What would you like to do?
Again. I think with there only being one, I think I'm gonna do my longsword two-handed.
Perfect. So, dropping your shield, you instinctively grab your longsword and just run in the 5 feet and go ahead and make your attack. Go ahead and roll a d20
Can I
and
tee
add.
this one up?
Whew.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what was it plus?
Finally!
Plus your strength
And
and
proficiency.
proficiency.
That is a 24.
24. 24 does hit with 1 hit
Pew,
point
pew,
remaining.
pew.
You kind of tee it
I
up
hope it's up
instinctively,
here.
like, get it off, as you just see a and the body that's kind of curled up over itself gets broken in the middle, so there's still one part attached and one part attached as half the body falls off, and then the other two fall to the opposite sides of your arm. The remaining one does now expire.
Thank
2
goodness.
allies down from 2 swarms.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, I'm immediately, when that drops, gonna go rush over and pick up Leaf and the doctor. Just sling them over. Fireman carry.
Okay. Where would you like to take them?
Wait.
Wait.
Yeah. Sorry.
I have lay on hands, so I can restore HP for someone.
Okay. Do we want to
Do you have
Do
any
we want
of
to
the
get out
healing spells? Or
What were the
I've got some
scrolls?
stuff, yeah. Yeah, we had bless and protection from poison and spiritual weapon, which I can't use.
Okay.
So actually read the bottoms of those because I added the caveats of what allows you to use them. Yeah, I'm smart enough to realize just to make sure everybody.
I'm also gonna put this out there. We talked about short rest.
I
If
also
we
think
all go into this room and barricade ourselves in where
Yeah.
nothing
I like
can
the
get
upstairs.
inside, we could
There's
probably
also
hang
the
out for an
upstairs
hour and be
with the bed.
okay.
That's not a bad idea.
What
that's
did
what
you
I
say,
was going
Lee?
to suggest about.
There was an upstairs with the bed. We just came down from there. It's way cozier, guys. I'm just gonna say
We
that.
could also just do that.
There's no more
What,
creepy
go back
changing
upstairs?
down
Where
here.
there's a bed, so we can rest.
Well, no, rest. A short rest isn't like sleeping. A short rest is an hour of like not doing
I
anything
mean, we
extraneous.
can take a long one. I'm pretty bushed.
I will say, like, I'm unconscious, so I can't really weigh in on this.
So it's like a weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
What is
But from a player meta perspective,
Meta
those people
pigeon.
our group is waiting for us to come back.
yeah, that's true. There
Yeah,
are-
but also two of us are dying.
Yeah, that's
At
true.
this point, yeah. If they want a full team, we gotta take care of ourselves first.
Yeah, we also can't leave this.
Yeah, it's
How
foggy.
nice.
Or
Until
work.
the mist is gone.
Yeah, which I think the mist may be tied to those kids.
I think if we want a chance, we might want to
Rest
heal
it
up
up.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah,
And I think in that, even though insects came out of that room, maybe a different corridor where insects don't come out of. Like one of the ones we were here in this first place, because we're in a stone room and we can barricade ourselves in. I'll keep
Yeah.
watch because I'm full health
Yeah.
and I've not been hurt, and I can just like fucking just go like this in case anything comes in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Alrighty.
idea.
Yeah.
So in order for characters who are unconscious to gain the benefits of a short rest with hit points, you would need to restore them to 1 hit point.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
you would be able to use 1 hit point each of your what's it called, lay on hands to bring them back to revive them, and then they can get the benefits of a short rest.
Does lay on hands use a spell slot, or is that just
Nope.
Okay. so
Straight up an
is that full
ability.
if
You have a
use-
I
pool
can
of
only
hit
use
points.
it once per long rest, though.
Right, but you have sorry, it's not once per long rest. You have a pool of hit points
Oh.
that you can use as often, as many or as few as you want.
Oh shit.
It's just that you can only use that number in total per
Oh,
long
okay.
rest. And I think it changes based on what your level is as well.
Yeah,
So
it
I'm going to
does.
double check.
So it's my level times 5.
Oh.
Your level times 5. So there you go. So your second level, so you have 10 total hit points that you can do one at a time. You can dump all of them into somebody. It's up to you. So in your case, you have 10 now. So you could put 1 each.
I think that's probably the best course of action.
Perfect. So the
Right,
unconscious
okay.
characters, eyes closed, sleeping essentially to wake up in a series of hours, just kind of.
I had a dream. There was a bug, and he wasn't a friend.
What the fucking fuck was that?
Well, Dr. Fuckhead over here opened up the goddamn crypt and let a bunch of insects in.
It was shiny.
You are no longer my oldest friend.
Look,
You are still mine. I forgive you.
Should we go for a rest then?
I think we rest.
I think that's a good idea.
I'm taking charge of this course, and I'm taking everyone into the fucking room. You all humans and crazy species that I've only learned about a year ago.
So
Go in
then
here.
Does that work?
Les is gonna be here, and then
Yeah.
we're each
For
gonna
the purpose
be.
of this, you guys sitting down across walls from each other with your legs like intertwined, it'll work.
Okay.
Yeah.
all
Why
in
not?
one then.
This
We'll
is
say
what
you're in
friends
one and
do.
just spilling outside in the hallway slightly.
Okay.
That's right, and I'm keeping watch right here.
Okay, so what kind of other can I get my hit points improved
So,
with the short rest?
Exactly. So I'll explain what a short rest does. So there are certain classes that have abilities that come back on short rests. I don't believe any of you are those classes.
Yeah.
I get detect magic back. Oh, shit, sorry.
Oh, you do?
I get detect magic back. Yes.
Don't
Okay.
you
I was
touch
so
my
excited.
book.
I was so excited.
As a
So
warlock,
many
I think you
secrets
actually
in
get
this
your spells back on a short
Ooh.
rest. So if you have used
Okay.
any
Where
of
all
your
that rich
spells,
lore was.
you get those back. I'm just going to double check.
I don't think I used them, but great. This is good to know anyway.
Do I get my spells back?
I think yours are on a long rest. Let me double check.
What about mine?
Yeah, so if you've used any of your spell slots, you get all those back on a short rest.
I have not, so we're good.
Yeah, so you're good. So as a ranger, I believe it's on a long rest. Double checking.
Makes sense. I'm not a big.
Yep, spellcasting. When you finish a long rest.
Paladin, is it long rest?
Paladin, I
I was
believe it's
thinking you
also
were so
long
wise.
rest.
I can check.
Double checking.
So how do you
Jordan,
feel
you
about
can
me
just
snake for the
doing a
salesman.
long
Yeah, this is just a thing.
Dog that'll make a dick
law.
big and live longer than ever.
But there's
So-
snakes, you see.
But the big thing here is for all characters, you may on your pages you've got hit dice recorded. You've got 2 times 1d10 or 1d8 or 1d6, whatever your class is. If you would like to regain hit points, you can spend the hour essentially tending to your wounds, resting, breathing, drinking a little bit of water. You can roll up to your maximum number of total hit dice to try and regain hit points. And every time you roll one of those, you also add your Constitution modifier. So if you've got a d8 hit die, and you have 2 of them, you can roll a d8, add your Constitution modifier, and then decide if you want to roll additional dice. Or if you're happy, I'm kind of content, I don't need any more hit points.
Well, I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
Me too.
Can you explain that again, please?
Sure. So on your page there, you've got hit dice. It'll show. So you've got 2 hit dice, 2 times 1d10.
Yes.
So you can roll 1d10 up to 2 times, each time adding your Constitution modifier, and regain that many hit points.
I'm back to 6. I
I'm
rolled
at
8,
10.
so I'm fine.
So you also add your Constitution modifier,
Yeah, which is 0.
which is 0. Okay. So
But I rolled higher than my max hit points, which is 6. I rolled an 8.
Oh,
What was your max hit points?
Hold on.
6.
you never added your hit points for your second level.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, is that...
Wow.
I was like, that's so low.
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure your hit points actually are 16.
Oh.
not 6.
Oh,
Well, that would be great.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm at 19.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
gonna say because
15.
you got as a ranger, it's a D10 hit points.
I'm not... well, yeah, it's D10.
It's D10, yeah. So at first level, you get 10 plus your con mod, which is 10, and I'm pretty sure you rolled a 6 because you decided to roll for your hit points.
Yeah,
which is
I did.
10 while you got a 6. So yeah, so your total hit points is actually 16.
Cool.
Well, I
I'm
guess
back
that
up
wouldn't
to
have
a
killed
20.
me, but...
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's okay. So in your case,
We're gonna call it and say it.
we'll say that you were at 7 because you did take 9 points
Okay,
of
yeah.
damage.
Sure
so
thing.
you'll add
So-
7, and then you add 8, so you're at 15. It's up to you if you'd like to roll the other one to gain the one.
If I roll the other one, do I have to stick with the other one?
You get both. You combine the totals.
Okay.
So essentially, as you roll, you get all of those totals.
Okay. I'll roll again. Then I get 2.
So there you go. So now you're at full.
I'm full.
And then I have a question because Hope had that weird spectral
Oh,
damage.
Yes.
Um,
And the spectral damage goes away once you finish a short or long rest.
perfect.
Correct. So
Nice.
essentially, your natural healing tending to that and getting off of it, you're able to just kind of
Right, okay.
help get rid of that a little bit. So your hit points do go back to your normal
I
maximum,
could use a sippy.
which
No,
you have reported.
I got
Perfect.
you.
That's
So
the
and then
boy.
you can roll hit points up until you.
I did it in
Can I have one as well?
Perfect. So you're good to go. So you still have 1 hit die left. So the only thing here that's of note is for the number of hit dice you have, every time you finish a long rest, that's an 8-hour sleep, you get half of your total hit dice back.
Okay.
So in your case, you had 2, you used 1, you used the second one. When you finish an 8-hour sleep, you'll fully regain all your hit points and you'll get 1 hit die back.
Okay.
Okay? So that's just the one thing to be aware of. If you want to reverse that 1 hit point that you took, I'll let you do that for the extra hit die, but that's up to you.
I think that's...
Sorry, I'm confused.
So
No worries.
basically, you can only have... Yeah, I don't know why I'm
Every
doing
time-
it the voice.
Yeah.
Every time you sleep, you
Yeah.
get 1 hit
How's
die
We
back.
survived.
So
Okay.
you've used both
But-
yours, so you
was
will be
literally
able
the
to get
first
a
2
hit
rooms.
die to restore your HP in a
Well,
short
I'm
rest
back at
until you
10.
have
Oh,
a
okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
So would you rather take back that
That's
one?
so funny.
So do you want the
Yeah.
1 hit point right now, or do you want the ability to take a short rest and use the hit
So the
die
last,
to get more?
last campaign I was
I'll
next
use
time.
the ability to take a short rest.
Okay, so we'll
Like,
give you 1 hit die back,
ingrained
so you'll be at
in
1,
our
and then your hit points will be at 15 instead of 6.
Okay, that's fine.
long-lasting
Amanda, you're at full?
tactic of
No, I'm
300
just fine. I'm
Yeah.
just
funnel.
You're just scared.
Scared.
Just scared.
just
Where-
scared. I'm
You
fine.
got your-
Scared.
what
I'm
do you have?
fine.
You're at 10.
10
I feel like that's an accurate
So
description
you
of my
rolled
life, really.
both, or you?
Yeah, I rolled both.
You
I
rolled-
used both of mine.
And you added your Constitution modifier to both.
My Constitution 0.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
good shit, eh? Brutal. Okay.
That's okay. It's 10 out of 13. I'm still okay.
Well, and that started. You started at 1.
Oh, so I'm at 11.
Yeah, and actually, you would have started at one additional because you would actually be at 16.
Oh, okay, perfect. Great.
So yeah, so you'd be at 11. Okay.
I'm fine, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so
We're
the
all very
party
worried.
deciding to take a 1-hour rest, initially wanting to push on, but realizing things might get a little bit
Forced
hairy.
them in a room and locked the
Forced
door.
them in a room, locked the door, stood outside, waiting for anything to attack. Nothing attacked. Nothing happened. That slight incessant chanting was still there, but you're still unable to determine anything about what it is or where it's coming from. But you all start to feel a little bit more yourselves, a little bit more at ease. I'm going to get you to make one more insight check for me.
Can I knock on the doors and go, wake up, normies?
Sure.
God damn, my
calling
rolls
a
today.
Edgelord.
It's like you rolled 2 20s and a 19 to start the
Everyone
session.
Don't.
is not a triton, is a normie.
Don't.
I'm a devil boy.
Is there any way that
Drow elf.
6.
6.
is there any way that I might
You are
have
scared
rude.
out of your wits.
is there any way that Leaf might have noticed that Allure is acting different and that it has any correlation to the
I'll
Other
get you to
kids.
go ahead and make a. Give me your background.
hermit?
Yeah, no, I know. And then your life domain cleric. Yeah, I'll get you to make an insight check.
Okay. That is a 20.
20.
Oh! Yeah, 20.
20. Okay. Alright.
Oh no.
See you later, gang.
You
Leaf, make sure you
sons
share
of
the
bitches.
information.
Well, we're just gonna hang out and share our rich backstories.
This has only been the first hour of the game. 2 people have died. There are secrets
We're
being
back.
told.
We're back.
They're back,
We're
fully
back
healed.
like that dinosaur movie. We're
I'm
back.
gonna say this right now. The
It's
Three-
only gonna get bad.
Well, no, the 300 tactic works so incredibly well. If you have a scout that goes off and finds if there's people around or whatever, and especially if you're stealthed and it works really well, and you go back to the party and be like, there's people ahead, and you're in this situation where there's like a room with a hallway, I always just get them to
okay.
like someone to cast a noise sort of thing going on.
We're down.
Oh.
One's down.
That's not right.
Uh-oh.
Wah, wah, wah.
I like the subtle dragon
Yeah.
in the back.
Watch it, guys.
Guys, we're done for.
Yes,
Can we
everyone
take
should
that
watch
out of my
Dragon
camera?
Prince.
No.
I saw it.
Leave.
I saw it in the
Still
future,
down.
and everyone.
Hang on, I'm about to reconnect.
Work.
Camera down.
We have a camera down. This is
Having
not-
So we've
some
got a
technical
moment.
Camera,
difficulties.
okay.
This
No.
camera.
Camera
Y'all are
goes
fine.
down.
What up?
Hey.
Just tell the lovely
You might
people.
know me as
Just
Leaf
distracted.
from the show.
You might know me. Oh, hang on. Let me go.
I think we have to roll. It's like, so D&D
You may
Beyond.
know me.
There you go.
Hope.
Okay, guys. D&D Beyond.
Yeah, so Dragon Prince.
It's a magical tool that allows the player just to
Got
do
your
whatever they
perfect
want.
warlock, your weapons and supplies.
There we
Don't
go.
You need
sue
a place
us,
to
you
store your
guys.
stuff, Cause you're so disorganized.
I'm not saying
10 seconds, that's fine.
I
Alright, we're good. We're back in
Not
live.
shilling.
no.
Until I see
totally
that
good.
money, I ain't
Yeah.
dancing.
Until I see that sweet Patreon
Yeah.
dollar.
Amanda's gonna cut it.
Technically, it's not up yet.
Yeah,
I
we're
would
good.
I would dance.
No, it's
with
back
you.
up.
Oh,
We're just
there
on
we
a
go.
5-second delay.
Even
Okay,
the
awesome.
camera couldn't handle that horrible handling of the first hour of the game.
That-
All of your
Natural
Camera's
20,
like-
knocked unconscious.
Camera was
Not
just like,
natural
I'm
20.
done. I can't
Yeah.
Said
show
you knocked
people what
unconscious.
Too much
just
secondhand
happened.
embarrassment for this whole situation.
Alrighty, so you do manage to complete your short rest. Most characters going back to a good number of hit points. Emerging from the room after a heavy bang 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 from the other side, you now are
Heavy bang bang.
Sorry.
heavy bang bang. You now are back in the hallway that
It's not a rest
you
for
were
rest.
that you were in before. Where would you like to go?
Les, you were talking about a tactic. Can you go over that again?
From what I've heard from surface level stories,
Oh, those are classic.
there was
We have many stories.
a tribe long ago that used a tactic that funneled enemies through a thin corridor so that the party, I can't speak very well. Thin corridors siphon enemies through it. If
Pew,
we've
pew,
got
pew, everyone
enemies in a
dies.
large room and there's a hallway, trick them into coming through the small hallway so that us on the other side can all attack them on a unified front.
So, how would we best go about that? Did you say that there would need to be a scout?
There should be a scout, and right now all of us should make stealth checks and try to move through this corridor unseen
Alright.
so that as we move forward and we see enemies, we could then send out spells or noises to distract them to come through and surprise them.
That's true.
I'm very sneaky.
And I have things to make people come to us.
But it's safe in this corridor. I think we should stay here.
We'll never get out of here alive if we don't go forward and find out what's waiting for us.
Where my stealth is. Oh, so I'm at 19 stealth.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
17.
I think.
Disadvantage because of your armor.
Yeah.
So roll again, take the lower of the two.
Oh, hey.
Oh.
Oof.
Oh.
Hey, we're teaming up for this one.
We're twins.
We got
Okay, so
14.
11,
So
14,
it's the back-
19.
19.
So wait, at disadvantage because of your armor.
Yeah, that was disadvantage.
Okay, nice.
yeah,
Leaf,
But that's a 3.
3. Oh,
3-2.
3.
17.
17. Okay. So some of you starting to make your way up, those of you in leather armor and lighter pieces of armor. Clang, clang, bang, bang, clang, clang.
All right. Hold on.
We didn't decide to actually utilize our stuff.
Yeah, where are we going?
We were
Oh
just
no, I know.
testing.
It's people just
Getting ready.
starting to get ready and starting to move and preparing themselves, and then all of a sudden you guys start to move forward a little bit, and then you, Leaf, you just kind of, hey, I got this, and you just fall flat on your face
Yeah.
as Hope stumbles into you and bang!
I was gonna say,
Why
how-
did I
how-
ever leave my home?
How tall are the doorways and everything?
Doorways are 8 feet.
So I
ceilings
definitely
are
clip
10.
top the floor.
I'm gonna-
Like
hold on.
Like one of the, like the kids.
You're like
I'm going to address the party for a second and just tell everybody I haven't survived this long out here on my own without doing certain things to ensure my survival. Who else rolled a good stealth?
You don't know.
Can
I don't
You
know.
don't know. That's the whole thing with stealth. Is
All
it
right,
just happens.
then I am
Yes.
just going to go ahead.
Okay.
Where's
I need you to re-roll your stealth because you broke your stealth.
What?
Yep. You make a stealth roll, and if you say anything or do anything to break
Oh,
stealth,
well,
you have to re-roll your
fucking
stealth.
hell, I didn't know that.
This is
You-
why stealthy
You
characters
should-
are the
yeah,
people who stealth.
You should let me or
This is
Elise
what. This
do
is why I
that.
do things on my own and don't care about anybody else.
Look
Talking.
forward
You
to the-
have.
Talking with
Look forward
parties
to the
gets you
spin-off
killed.
show.
So we've done these two.
We've done
So
this.
You should let the
Yeah, so
people
what
who
does-
are stealthy do
That's
that.
where we. No,
We-
it's not.
I
came
won't
this
do it
way.
by
We
myself,
have
but I
this
will go with
area,
someone.
Yeah.
and then
I think
these
maybe
I'm
guys-
happy to go ahead. I'm very good at
Oh, the
sneaking
two
into the
possessed
shadows.
people. Let's go adventure.
Oh,
Let's
boy.
go find whatever's in the darkness.
I'm stealthing real good, but I am not
Reroll
following
back
ghost
to
kids.
a lucky 5.
Oh,
It's like
Leaf, do
tripping.
you have anything to tell us?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So, starting to make your way forward, where would you like to go, Les?
With my unstealthy fucking
You don't know that.
nature.
You know that I was quiet last time. I've got this.
Who knows where to go?
Oh my god.
So we haven't explored these or
Or
down
that
the
guy,
stairs.
yeah.
Correct. And if you pull that back just a little bit further, there is also an exit further down there.
An exit?
Well,
Not an
a
exit,
door-
but
a door- an
more,
archway.
More corridors.
So do you want to check out the ones in the nearest area, or
Yeah.
do you want to go
All
further?
right, I'm going to say, who's great with ranged attacks? Not the one who's acting weird.
I mean, I got Eldritch Blast.
I do have a javelin.
You have a javelin, you have Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
This
Alright,
would be
I'm
your-
going to take the doctor.
Yeah, that's
Me and the
fine.
doctor are going to scout ahead a couple
I am coming
feet.
with you. I am great with my bow and arrow, and you can't stop me.
Oh! Called out.
I think,
Welp.
someone's
Hi.
getting into her.
I'm also very good at sneaking into the shadows. It doesn't make any sense not to have me going ahead.
Something seems a little off with Leaf.
Okay, I'm gonna take, or I guess Hope and I are gonna be hanging back.
Keep
Yep.
combining your two names, going
Yeah.
E-Leaf.
Yeah. Ely.
Ely.
E-Leaf.
What's
Okay,
do
so
we
which way are we
Alright,
going,
so-
guys?
openly
Are we
in front
checking
of these
this
people?
I'm going to go down this way. ahead.
South.
South. Down the
in your,
steps.
Are you sure
I
you
think
don't
it
want
would
me
be
to go
more
ahead?
intelligent for us to look at to clear these because we know that they're just more crypts.
Wouldn't that mean that we don't even need to open those doors?
That's also true.
Valid. Okay.
Unless there's fancy stuff
Well,
inside.
At
My
this
god
point,
is the
we
god
need
of
to survive
rebirth.
and not get trapped
So
by.
I would like to think
Fine.
yes, but I need to do a check.
Um,
guys.
Friggin' fish boy.
Yeah, so me, Elif, and the doctor are going to go down these steps.
I'm going ahead to stealth, and I slip into the shadows, or attempt to.
So you have
And
to
watch
roll.
them. Yeah.
Characteristics of
Geordie?
Sorry?
I'm going. I want to.
Yep.
Elise is going ahead and stealthing into the shadows.
Okay. Are
She's
you
being super
following?
gung ho.
I am.
Oh yeah, no, I will.
23.
Go ahead and roll self check.
I know that they can intimidate out of the body, and I can.
Stand guard.
Here we go.
14.
If you want to try that, we could maybe
So the two of you pushing your way on. What direction are you going?
South.
Going
Into
down
this
south.
room.
Into this
Okay.
one.
So you start to make your way down the stairs.
So we're still separate from the rest.
Yeah, we
Just
can
being
tag.
Sharing your rich backstories.
Anyways, we'll turn 10.
Alrighty. So making your way down the stairs, you see a wooden table with 4 chairs stand on one side of this room along the south wall. And on the opposite side are 4 alcoves containing moldy straw pallets. And those are kind of those little
Little
indentation things, yeah. So you can pull that even a little further over towards you.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Yep, so those kind of indentations inside the wall there, that's where those moldy straw pallets are.
Okay. We lighting up all the torches in this room? Are there torches in this room, Jordy?
There are torches in this room as well if you'd like to light them.
Okay. Pew, pew, pew.
I'm just gonna look around for
They are lit.
spooky shit. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing nothing.
Yeah, I
Okay.
want to look at the
No
pallets.
spooky shit, you're good. That's good.
Yeah, well,
Alright.
5, but
I want to
Look
look
at
at
the pallets? Yeah, go and make an
I
investigation
basically
check.
just want to see if there's any sort of sense of occupation of this room, like if people were sleeping here or what, living here or what was going on.
So it's just me and Alith in this room right
Correct.
now, right?
So you're
Okay.
at the top of the stairs.
do we want to try this?
Investigation 9.
9.
I think we should, but how do we
It looks like these might have been
need to talk
very
to Dr.
odd beds, like not very comfortable, but they are straw on top of wood slats, so it's at least better than sleeping on the floor. But it's definitely not something that someone would
Anything that can incapacitate somebody.
either not willingly elect to sleep there, or absolutely willingly elect to sleep there.
Are they adult sized or child sized?
Adult size. They don't look like there is dust and dirt and mold on them, so it doesn't look like they've been used in quite some time.
What about the table and chairs?
Table and chairs, same thing. It's a lot of dust, a lot of cobwebs on there. Again, doesn't look like it's been used in a long
What kind of quality are they made out of? Just
functional, rudimentary, just basic wood nailed together. That's about it. It's definitely not anything meant to entertain high quality guests.
That's gonna cause a fuel
Okay.
effect before we get screwed over by this. Alright, if you want to
So which have you looked in these?
Yeah. She made her way
Yeah.
around and looked
Okay.
in those and checked out all the pallets.
Okay.
I think we should continue going this way.
I think
Okay. So making your way down there.
Are you coming with me?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Laura, I got a quick question. Can you just kinda hang back here? Sorry.
Les, why don't you scout forward with Alith?
Yeah, we're just, wondering. Just want to come back and, just notice you're a little out of sorts, and I think I've got something that maybe help you. I hope you're a bit of experience, a bit of a life coach. So yeah, if you're interested,
I don't know what you mean.
I don't know. Hope you want to maybe take this one. I'm not really great with words, but
yeah. Due to my religious background, we're a little concerned.
What do you mean?
We're very, very concerned.
Hope you're scaring me.
I don't think there's really anything
I don't
to worry
know.
about here.
This is. I'm gonna kind of start backing up.
But we kind of corner you
Yeah.
Well,
against
There's
the
three
wall.
of us cornering you, kid. The jig is up.
Yeah.
Laura, it's nothing to worry about.
We're just here to
Yeah,
help.
we. Oh my god, this sounds so creepy.
Hey, kid, get out of our friend's body.
Let the little boy out. No.
I'm paying
Actually,
the
yeah.
troll toll to get this boy's soul.
Hey, hell, I said that. That was in character.
Open up and release the child.
Is it Rosalie? Is that the name of the child?
Lauren.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the little kid.
Rose. Rose and
Rose.
Thorn were the kids' names.
Rose, you need to get out of the lure.
Get the heck out of our friend.
So, can I ask the DM a question? What? How much do I know? And
You have
what?
no idea what they're talking
Right,
about. You're
okay.
looking at them like, and you are scared as
Fuck.
hell.
Yeah. No. I'm literally in the
You're
corner,
basically
and there's
being
4 of
told
them.
that you're being possessed by something.
Yeah.
No, you're walking away with her. You're
Yeah.
distracting.
You guys
her.
are down.
I'm not paying
down
attention to
here.
all. I
Hanging
want
out
to go
over there.
exploring.
Yeah. So you guys have started to move away already. So I'll go ahead and let you guys, whoever is being, you feel, the most intimidating, to make an intimidation check against...
Hello, hello.
All right, go make an intimidation check.
Ho
That was
ho!
what we needed.
16 plus... Where's my intimidation? 4.
Plus 4,
20.
I'm so sorry. I
With that,
really,
you are curled up in a ball as these
I would be crying.
friends of yours.
I think I would be crying.
Yeah, you'd be crying.
That's right.
These friends of yours are yelling at you, "Get out of our friend! What's the matter with you?" And then you just kind of are crying, sobbing, and then totally fine. And you're back to yourself, and you're wiping, and you're starting to wipe away the tears, and you're just like,
What the fuck?
and you still have no
Doctor.
idea what happened, but you just are
doctor.
back to feeling
Leaf,
like
do you
yourself.
want to explain?
Okay.
My
can I
doctor.
make a perception check? Do I see anything like?
Yeah, go for it. Make a perception check.
Oh god damn it! That's an 8.
That's an 8.
Can I also use with
Sure.
my
I'll
religious
I'll let you both. Yeah,
background?
go ahead and make a perception check. Yeah.
Oh,
Did I like fall
17.
over? Why am I in this
17
corner,
is
you
17.
guys?
I
I
you
know I
don't
like leaning,
really
but
notice
like,
anything.
okay.
It's just that all of a sudden you just notice Allura going from sobbing, crying to just kind of like shoulders slumped to just kind of her shoulders go back a little bit, and goes back to the normal posture that you're used to seeing her have.
Leaf, do you want to help explain
Yeah,
what
so,
happened?
I think what you're dealing with here, and I might guess our friend Alith up there is also dealing with, is just a common, it's considered what's possession. This happens most of the time with ghosts and other
oh, those
friendly spirits. They most of the time they
fucking
mean
kids.
no harm. I wouldn't really worry about it. It's unfortunate that we had to be so forward with them. They were just little guys.
We busted that ghost.
I didn't.
Yeah,
Thanks, you
shenanigans helped
I
intimidate
appreciate
Rose
that. I
out of
appreciate
it.
that.
I'm very scary.
I just want to make sure
In
you're
the hat.
feeling all right.
I've broken bad.
Oh, okay. All right.
Are you
Well,
feeling more yourself? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Hey, so while it's just the 4 of us in the room, do we want to get Elise back here so I can show her?
We're ahead of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys have
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
idea.
we
they're
got
So at this
like-
point,
Hallway.
you two have started to make your way into that chamber. You can go ahead and fully
Don't worry.
reveal that entire chamber.
Okay.
Pull it towards you.
Are we good
Yep,
to
you can
catch
take that
up?
one right off.
Oh
Perfect.
shit, a donut.
Uh-oh.
So, in the center of this room, a 4-foot diameter well shaft with a 3-foot high stone lip descends 30 feet to a water-filled cistern. A wooden bucket hangs from a rope and pulley mechanism bolted to the cross beams above the well. 5 side rooms, seeming to be old sleeping quarters. You see in some of them, looks like one contains a wood-framed bed, moldy straw mattress, and a wooden chest.
Wooden chest.
Are we still sort of stealthed right now, or are we just?
You're still stealthed.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess I'm not stealth anymore because of all
yeah.
of my shouting.
I'm gonna
So,
go.
Yeah.
Elif, you start to make your way into the room very quietly and kind of making your way around the side, and then you just hear a as you lose your footing on the top of the steps and actually just fall down the stairs. The metal armor clanking, shattering, cracking against the wall, and eventually lay splayed out on the ground at the bottom of the stairs.
And then I'm gonna look at Alith and go, oh, sorry, did I make a lot of noise?
I'm not with him.
just do yourself.
Were you trying to get around here very quietly?
I mean, attack him first. Whatever's out there.
Well,
Okay.
we've.
Do we
Did you
wanna
hear
do-
that noise?
I did
Should
hear
we?
So this was all
quickly-
happening simultaneously, so you
Yeah.
guys, we're going to let you do a little bit
Oh,
more
yeah,
on the
yeah.
story
Oh,
while that's
okay,
happening.
sorry.
So we're in the
I'm gonna go over and. Well, first I'm gonna be very careful in this room. Like I'm making sure there's no traps that I'm trying to trigger as I'm moving around,
That's
like
not my
quite
guy, but it's
deliberately.
fine.
But I like
It's-
to go look at the
Actually,
chest
that's
that's in the
not
corner
mine.
of the room.
Sure. So the chests,
Or in the
you
one of the
actually,
side
yeah,
rooms.
as you make your way through,
Right
you're
up
kind
to
of
the
peeking a
green
little bit. You
color.
actually notice that each of the 5 rooms
Sounds like
has a chest in it,
That
and
does
all of them are
sound
locked with
That's
iron
very appropriate.
padlocks.
Do they look like they might fit the key that I have?
They look substantially smaller.
Okay.
Just making
Alright.
good to the Kush god.
Yeah.
Looks like we've got ourselves a little treasure trove here.
Well, there's like a few names.
We'll need to go back to the road to get her to come in and
Do the thing.
check things out. But what do you think is up with this creepy well? And I just go over and kind of like peer over the edge.
So peering over the edge, kind of looking down,